theater owners will go bankrupt unless Congress acts. This is from the theater owners chief, John Fithian, who works for the National Association of Theater Owners. He seems to think that all of these megaplexes are going to need your tax dollars. Let's see if we agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, hiss and foes, welcome to the Culture Casino!
Sometimes I find what certain high school publications like Deadline and Variety will put out there into the world now that they're owned by Penske Media. In whatever form that new company is named, it's still the same place to go and get exactly the same material in exactly the same way, with little or no difference in editorial or commentary direction. And it's frustrating. But that's not the problem here. The problem here isn't even the first line of this story, which is struggling movie theaters can't wait for Joe Biden to move into the White House. They now. Well, guess what? I'm not going to give you billions of dollars if I have anything to say about it. And neither will Joe Biden, because guess what? Getting this kind of spending through Congress is going to be difficult. You can't convince me that these people, these owners of these giant megaplex billion-dollar entities, need the money more than the plain old American people who've been pickpocketed every single time any of these large corporations come crawling back for money that they spend frivolously, that they gave away to their CEOs, their CFOs, and all their senior level executive positions. It is, it's beyond me. I've reached the point of enough. Enough is enough. They've asked this man several different questions, and his takes on the entire industry says everything needs tax dollar support, from the Save Our Stages efforts that supposedly was a bipartisan effort, which is asking for billions of dollars in grants to concert venues and theaters. You know, these are stage theaters that were hit by the shutdown. Well, guess what? Everybody else was hit by the same exact shutdown. Are you going to bail out the country grocery store? The one that's not tied to a major brand name that's owned by some giant corporation? Maybe then we'll talk. Are you going to go talk to the guy that owns the antique furniture shop down the street that was burned down over some dumb riot for no good reason? Maybe then we can talk. Are you going to go and take care of the used car lot that is a family-run business for generations that now is no longer existent? Maybe then we'll talk. But right now, listening to this man in this article is terribly frustrating. And you don't often get this. I don't often go off of emotion when I make these types of videos. But in this particular circumstance, in this particular situation, emotion is what is called for. My money needs to be spent on other human beings, not on giant faceless corporations. Even though those corporations are made up of human beings, oftentimes they are poorly managed. They are put in a financial position where, hey, we need a bailout. Well, if you made the decisions that put you in that place in the first place, I don't think I should help you. I've had my misgivings for a long time about bailouts when it comes to things like this, the loan industry, the automotive industry, the airlines. I think at some point these corporations need to be operated like the businesses they are and allowed to fail when they have to. The Save Our Stages thing is, one part of this. The other part, of course, is that they need to save the actual screen theaters as well. Right now, the industry doesn't exist as far as the person drafting this Q&A says in this following question. You know what? Let's continue on this way. I will read some of these. I will give you my response as well as this person's response. This is an existential moment for the industry. I appreciate that filmmakers and movie stars are making phone calls, but shouldn't they be doing more? Is it really so hard for them to tape a PSA on behalf of cinemas or do interviews on Good Morning America about the danger that movie theaters might close for good? Well, let me tell you this. It's easy for me to ask this question, Mr. Interviewer. No. Celebrities are probably the last persons that anybody's going to listen to. They've gone out of their way to alienate themselves from 50% of the audience, which, by the way, 50% of the electorate is offended by the things that these celebrities have said. And this industry as a whole won't suffer. The large companies will suffer. The mom and pop theaters out there, believe it or not, and the new resurgence, I should say, of the drive-in theaters, they're just fine. Rerunning old films, quality entertainment, and providing a social distancing venue where everyone can feel comfortable in their own car. I don't believe that celebrities will help your cause, but hey, maybe they will. The Senate and the congressional members that fell on the 50% of the population that they demonized, I think would also turn a deaf ear to those types of appeals. And of course, Fithian's answer to this is, well, many of the major directors have done that. I haven't seen one, nor do I care to. I'll continue. I think that there were 120 filmmakers who signed a recent public letter to Congress saying that this isn't just about a business. It's also about an art form that could go away if something isn't done. Must not be much of an art form if people are not going to be supporting it. In fact, I don't think I should underwrite an art form that can't support itself. You need patrons to do that. And if you are not collecting patrons, if people are not going to the theaters, it's not just about a lack of theatrical availability, because as I said, you could survive by simply providing older films and film festivals catered around those, like trilogies and things like that, to earn additional revenue for the theater industry. But you're not doing that. We're part of the problem in causing a massive fear campaign that kept half of the people afraid to go out of their own doors, and the other half being demonized for bothering to do so. Anyway, I continue. That was a great letter. It got a lot of attention, but couldn't even more be done? Why aren't movie stars calling Variety and other publications up to do interviews or write opinion pieces to bring attention to what's happening? I certainly haven't been on the receiving end of that kind of outreach. Again, this is an interviewer for a high school paper, basically, or a trade paper. I guess some people hold it in high regard. It's really hard to nowadays. The answer? Look, I encourage everyone in the entertainment industry who cares about the survival of movie theaters to speak out. They should speak out. There's always more that people can do. Well, the actors and actresses have made it clear they don't work for the theater system. They don't work for the people who consume their product. They work for the paycheck they get from whatever faceless corporation employs them. And when it comes to being on anybody's side, it's whatever side they think is going to serve them the best. And recently, that wasn't the American people as a whole. So, regardless, have you made any outreach to the Biden team to talk about the ways that his administration could help cinemas? Here we go. We will be working with the Biden transition team, but until a winner was declared, that kind of outreach would have been premature. By next week, we will start having conversations, but keep in mind that we need something approved in November in the lame duck session when the President Trump is still president. So the Biden transition team conversations will only be if we don't get results now and we have to do something in February. Boy, do I hope they do nothing for you at this point. In fact, I hope that sits in somebody's pocket for a long time, because again, you have entire industries mobilized against 50% of the population. I don't know if I want to go through the rest of this. This person goes on to say that for whatever reason, it's safe for theaters to open, and that they've been talking to a lot of folks that are medical doctors, people who are very, very clear about whether or not the theaters are safe for people to revisit. And of course, he states unequivocally that it's fine, that after consulting with epidemiologists specifically, they've had them look into their procedures, and they've found that movie theaters are much safer places, much safer than other places where people are gathering right now. Well, I have to tell you, I don't disagree with that. There are some reasons why a lot of the findings are ridiculous and whatever he produces in the rest of that answer. I encourage you to go and look at this article. It is, it's one that I think is, worth your time. This was done on November 8th, so you can look this up rather easily from Sunday for Variety. It's usually going to be towards the first or second page. But Fithian is exactly the same problem as everything else. Somebody who is willing to draw fear, willing to take a partisan approach to things, and is now going to be reaching out a glad hand for any of your tax dollars. Try to make a decision about this as a taxpayer. Is this the kind of thing that you want your money to go towards rescuing? Do you want to rescue these types of large corporations? Because if we continue to do it, we are largely doing what everybody always tells us is the problem with many of these entitlement circumstances that we find ourselves in. We are going to continually be asked to support more and more business entities in an effort to preserve these antiquated practices by not only the companies and industries as a whole, but by their corporate masters and those puppet masters that we are starting to have even more and more trouble with. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. I'm sorry it was a little bit more ranty than normal. Not something I normally do. More of an off-the-cuff opinion, and I'm not going to apologize for that, although you'll find something a little more measured on Wednesday as we start to talk more about analytics and start to dive into some of the parrot analytics stuff that is infesting the industry overall and giving a lot of bad ideas to a lot of companies that are being told bad data and what that bad data means. Anyway, until next time, I will close as I always do. Be sure to support other independent creators out there. They are really not getting a leg up on the platform. Check out amazing creators like Lorena Creole, who I've talked about before on my channel. She's very, very close on her watch hours to get over the monetization hump, and I would love to see that happen as soon as possible. So if you haven't looked at her material, go and check out the bulk of her live streams, especially the Welcome to Florida ones. They're excellent. And yours truly is on those as well. And her assistant, Fat Steven Seagal, is absolutely brilliant and funny when it comes to lightening the mood over on her channel. But be sure to support other independent creators as well. Also, take care of yourself. Take care of others. Wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.
Hey there. One last quick note before I let you go, and before we make it to the end of this video. I, CultureCasino, have a brand new Teespring store. That's right, you can now go to Teespring, look up CultureCasino, or use the link in the video below, and pick out some handsome and beautiful CultureCasino merchandise with many different designs and styles and colors, many different items. I was actually surprised at all of the things that you could create. And I have some more designs and items on the way here shortly. But, if you want to support the channel in that way, there is some merch. Otherwise, here comes the ending. Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.